what I would like to do here is to advise the general public on the things to look for when they go to this year's in the motor show, whether it be Earl's Caucus or the Olympiad, where you pay your money, earn tile, clibbery, and in you go and work up a load out of the aisles. Now, first, you must find a car. As you know, a car, 4 wheels, one on each corm, except a through-wheeler there with Motor Society and Tritley How. Then the heights of Olympia soon fall into place on the running board of the cost of adjustments to the retail price. See, this is if you're going to buy one. Now, the most important thing about a new Modelo is the strength of the link between the rear, and I'm getting on the technicality, you'll please excuse this, the plunging sprocket and the front wheel skiddery. If you're interested in the front wheel skiddery, the modern flat dispers type with a little pinchy most either side is better than the drum type breakers, and very much because wet it dries, you have a little cloud of steam and skid it on the left hand side. And you see what happens in an inferior model is this, that the brake assessment adjustee slot falls in the poppy spring, this is a P-O-P-O-P-P-T, oh dear, I can even spell it for those of Vespuria. And if you happen to be driving at high speeds, you get the crash program with the slidey rate of the insurance firm, all Welshie and the compensator's policy as they nip smartly out the back door. Now, some of you, on the other hand, might prefer an independent coily spring suspension. And if I could explode this away to make it as a separate curve, it wasn't meant to be a facetious thought because it's very important as a way to help the very fine cormery for a separate spring-loaded independent squirt. Now, you have a large spring at each corm, so if the camber of the Rome, as you take it in the corm and drive into it, so there's an equal and opposite. This is the pressure. And if you left buttock on the seat for a mobile weight for it, no, I'm serious for that. Because it does do an equibalance. And this is the original, it was an equipoise which equibalanced, does that with the 4-wheel spring, and most of them are doing it. Oh, yes. Now, a word of warning here. Remember that the internal combustible carriage wheel locomotion for the control arm, and if you know which arm I mean, you've got none of the civil because that's more than throws inside the average peatload spine. Oh, yes. Petrol consumption is a very ugly disease. We can only be cured on account of the bulk of Aquabold and the far-flummers oil well which happen to come in the mid-load of Nigeria. But you men must buy a Adviceylode. This is the thing, because if you have a saddlebag assembly of that and stuff your lunch in the throw, and, well, what joy for the country, and whipping it up a low down, and your knee clavers all very, very, very red. No. Never let the hydraulic fluid sink deep into the big end of the rack piston nut assembly, because if you do, it's a question of the tie rod. Oh, yeah. Now, if you have one of those expense account petrol tanks with the needle connected to the deductible allowance, you know, for the old Bentley, oh, you want to see this on your panel, giving you a quite indicate, and nowadays it's done through a computer. But I wouldn't do this if I were you. I don't say you shouldn't. Oh, no. But keeping in mind the state of the road tax is bound to be a case of jammy today, jammy yesterday, and whatever you fancy at the wheel load rotatey. Ah, yes. And regarding the motor carb, finally, if you happen to be buying a new car this year, whether it's a through-wheel, four-wheel, or a side-wheel crop, as you know, many of them run on the cycle, especially on the ice, don't commit yourself unless you're quite confident that the sedan coupe on the Mini Plus amendments are worth the extra outlay in the parking meter, kick it and run, eh? Oh, no. It's £2. It is. The kick it and rummy was your own stride. Somebody's done that in the jack pocket. Awful all about in the six-blade ingoing turn up a sky. And as far as I'm concerned, it's £2 every time. And you know, nobody will deny that the angle shafts terminate in the bevel gear, connected by the several smaller woes which mount on the radial axis of the differential housing inside the ring gear. And this is absolutely true. And in most of the manuals will tell you, if you look it up a low doubt. And that, in a nutshell, is why the rising prices of the new models comes in a great flexibility-wise to the consumer. Of course, there is the question of the status symbol with the fishtail chassis overhang. And how many have that very fine protruding stuff out the back fishtail? It looks as if you've got 34 cylinders, 94 exhaust pipe, and one little quick overload downer. Yes. Well, When the piston rings through the factory, take your pick of the models. Count yourself lucky if you're running out before you're running in, over the pedestrian interloper or J-bolt on the traffic island. And you must have suffered like that, as many often do. Oh, I've seen many often poor old ladies slip bonk on the focus there and say, sorry I got in the way of the motor car and off.